everyone, we are two from the class 38. My name is Khoa and I am the team leader.
Hello, my name is Hui.
My name is Swat. Hello, my name is Miling. I'm from Team 2.
Hello everyone, I am Hiếu and
Today we are going to present our survey project on the topic Going Global.
Now, let me give you some background information about our topic. Globalization is one of the most significant trends affecting economies and societies worldwide. In Vietnam, as we integrate deeper into the global economy, local businesses and workers face both opportunities and challenges. Our textbook Reading and Writing Pathway 2 present a common belief in Unit 3, Going Global. It says, and I quote, "The only way to become global citizens is traveling to many countries as you can." But it is really true? And more importantly, how does globalization actually affect local businesses and workers in Vietnam? These are the questions we are wanted to explore through our survey. We chose this topic because it's highly relevant to our daily life as Vietnamese students. We see international brands everywhere, from Starbucks to Uniqlo, but we also want to know what happened to our local business.
Our first research question is how university students understand the effect of globalization on local business and workers in Vietnam. Our second research question is what makes sure young people return to tech to support local business in the context of globalization. The purpose of this survey is to explore young people awareness of globalization impact on local business and their willingness to take action to support local development in global business. In all the world, we want to now know young Vietnamese people understand what globalization means for economy. Are they ready to do something about it? Their questions are important because the future of Vietnam economy depend on your will of generation understand we respond to globalization.
I will explain how we conducted our survey. First, the first period, we collected data from June 17th to June 25. The number of respondents is around 200 people. This exceeds the minimum required of 25 respondents, which give us more reliable result. The location is Vietnam, primarily Ho Chi Minh City, since most of our network is here. The method is an online questionnaire via Google Forms. We chose this method because it is convenient, fast, and easy, and it allows us to reach a large number of people in a short time. Our target audience includes 4 groups: university students, employed people, freelancers, and unemployed people, because we wanted to leverage our perspective. We distributed the survey through multiple platforms, firstly from Google Forms, and then we shared it through Facebook, Messenger, and Zalo, and university online communities. So this multi-platform approaches helped us reach different groups of people, and we are happy to report that we've collected the exact 215 valid responses within just 5 days or a bit more, which shows a strong interest in this topic.
So, why did we choose this topic? Well, to begin with, globalization is undoubtedly one of the most powerful for accepting our work in the 21st century. It connects economic, culture, and societies around the borderline never before. However, when we look at Vietnam specifically, the picture before more complex. Ever since the economic reform in the 1986, Vietnam had gradually opened its door to the global market. While this had brought a remarkable growth and opportunity, it had also created intense competition for local business. Furthermore, as young people, digital natives, and the future workforce, we hold and unique perspective on this issue. We are the one who will enhance the economic work in it and set it. Therefore, understanding how we perceive globalization impacts on the local business is not just interesting, it's either essential. In addition, we notice a gap in existing research most serious focus on economic indicator, but few explore the voice and attitude of young Vietnam people themselves. Which that means, let's turn to our research question. Our study were designed around 3 main focus areas, which we will explore in this presentation. First, on the global position, we ask, what do young people think about the effect to globalization? Is it mostly positive, mostly negative, or both equally? Second, regarding local impacts, we examine how do local Vietnam business compete with import products, what challenge do they face, and how do young people behave as consumers? Do they buy foreign brand or do they support local one? Third, in terms of future solution, we investigate what skill do young people need to success in the global business work. What should schools do to prepare them, and what government support is more needed to answer. This question we designed a comprehensive survey. Let's briefly explain how we collect our data. Our survey was conducted online using Google Forms, and it was distributed from June 17 to June 18, 2026. In total, we received an investment 213 valid response, which for assess the minimum requirements of 25. In terms of demographic, our respondents were predominantly young people, survived physically the 47 for reasons whereas to 18 to 22, 25% were 25 to 33, 34, and 24% were under 18. Regarding gender, 57% were female, 35% were male, and the remainder prefer not to say in detail and order. Moreover, we use a combination of the closed-ending and open-ended question to capture both quantitative data and quantitative insight. Now that you have clean picture or methodology, I would like to hand over to my teammates who will watch Young through our first set of finding on global position.
I will be presenting the first dimension of our findings, global perception. To start with, let's look at the big question: how do young Vietnamese people view globalization overall? As you can see from the pie chart, the results are quite relieving. A significant 43.5% of respondents, nearly half, believe that globalization has mostly negative effects on local business. In contrast, only 30.8% see it as mostly positive. Meanwhile, 22.9% take the balanced view, saying the effects are both equal, positive and negative, and just 2.8% are unsure. What does this telling us? Well, it suggests that among young people concerned outweigh optimism. They are more worried about the threats that globalization poses to the local business than excited about the opportunity it brings. Nevertheless, it would worth noting that the 22.9% who see both sides indicate a neutral understanding. They recognize that globalization is not simply black or white. Moving on from perception, let's examine how they relate to their career outlook. Here is where things get really interesting. Despite the largely negative perception of globalization impacts on business, where we ask about job opportunities, the picture flipped dramatically. As shown in the chart, the striking 77.5% of respondents believe that globalization has increased job opportunity for young people. 47.2% say slightly increased, and 30.4% say significantly increased. Meanwhile, only 16.8% see no change, and 5.6% believe job had decreased. This creates what we can call job paradox. Young people are personality optimism about their own career prospects in the globalized economy, yet they are collectively concerned about the survival of local business. In other words, they see benefits for themselves but worry about the broader economic ecosystem. This tension between individual, gen, and collective anxiety is one of the most fascinating findings of our study. Having explored perception and career, I would now like to pass the floor to Link, who will delve into the second dimension, local impact, including competitiveness and consumer behavior. Thank you.
Okay, now I will be guiding you through our findings on local impact. First, let's address the critical questions. Do young people believe Vietnamese product can actually compete with imported goods? And the answer, as you can see, is cautiously optimistic. So overall, nearly 70% of respondents believe that local products can compete. However, their confidence is split. As this slide shows, 37.4% say yes, definitely, meaning they believe Vietnamese products can survive and compete well against the foreign brands. Meanwhile, 32.5% say maybe, which means they believe local brands have potential but need to improve their packaging, design, and prices quickly. So what does this split confidence tell us? Well, on one hand, those who say yes, definitely, point to quality Vietnamese agricultural products like coffee and traditional items that have unique local advantages. On the other hand, the 32.2% of who say maybe suggest that while the foundation exists, there's still a long way to go in building full consumer confidence. In the other words, young people want to believe in local brands, but they need to see the improvement in branding, quality, consistency, and competitive pricing before they fully commit. And now, let's look at what stands in the way of this progress. When we ask about the challenges local businesses face, our major obstacles emerged as shown in this chart. First, competition from foreign brands tops the list at 39% of mentions. This is hardly surprising given the massive marketing budgets and brand recognition of international companies. Second, lacking of technologies allows closely at 36.2%. Many local businesses still rely on traditional methods and struggle to adopt e-commerce, digital payments, and data analytics. And third, limited access to global markets accounts for 35.7% of mentions. So small Vietnamese businesses often lack the resources to participate in international trade fairs or build overseas distribution networks. And finally, high production costs are cited by 22.5% of respondents. This makes it difficult for Vietnamese products to compete with the cheaper products, especially from the countries like China. Together, these four challenges form that we call the triple threat, including competition, technology, and market access, with cost as an additional burden. And now, let's see how these challenges translate into the actual consumer behavior. So, this slide reveals one of the most eye-opening findings of our survey, the gap between what young people say and what they actually do. On the left, you can see that 75.3% of respondents buy products from international brands at least sometimes, which is 47.7% say sometimes, and 27.6% say very often. Only Only 7.5% say never buy any international brands. On the right, when asked about supporting local businesses, 70.6% say they do, so it's counted at sometimes, at least. So 42.1% say sometimes, and 28.5% say always. However, 8.9% admit that they have never supported local businesses. So, what does this comparison reveal? It shows a pragmatic patriotism gap. While young people express support for local businesses, their purchasing behavior still favors the international brands. And in fact, the percentage of who buying international brands very often is almost equal to the ones who always support the local ones. This suggests that price, quality, and brand appeal often win over patriotic sentiment in real-world purchasing decisions. With that insight in mind, I would like to invite Fat to continue with the third dimension, future solution, including effective action and essential skill.
With the previous session, I would now like to share our findings on future solutions, specifically what actions local business need to take and what skills the young most required to thrive in a global work. First, let's look at what young people consider to are the most effective levers from for supporting local brands. Coming in first place is rice and reputation at 42%. This shows that no matter how pathetic they feel, Gen Z and billion consumers are highly pragmatic from them reasonable price tab and bank readability still the ultimate dear Rex product quality text the sense spot at 38% there is the gold gold standard reward to build long term customer loyalty young consumers more than willing to support local brands, but only five if the quality meets or exceeds their expectations. Finally, computer customer surface account for 18%, while it has a smaller share lemons like fast delivery, easy returns, and seamless shopping experience are major plus points that will customer here. So that so what is the key takeaway for local business? It means they cannot rely on participants alone to turn emo, emo, emotional sport into a tool purchase business must invest heavily in their pilots, competitive, reducing confidence, quality, and professional customer service. Now that we understand what rivers their purchase, what skills that young people feel they need, feel they need to survive and thrive in this global environment. Let's move to the next slide. When illusion the person witness for the global 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 this work for our respondents highlight for cost skill sets. Digital skills top the list at 40%. It makes perfect sense for a generation full of digital natives. They now that technology is not no longer just a phones. It is position revenge for carry survival and brown grow cross customer communication comes in second at 38 version. In today's flat work, the ability to connect, understand work and work with people from different backgrounds is golden step into uh, me- multidimensional complex for foreign language skills rank third at 20, uh, 28 version. Listen in particular remains the in this good language of global business, opening doors to better carry opportunities. Finally, critical thinking is mentioned by 18, even though its number seems small, it is vital because it forms the foundation of cognitive adaptability, helping young people managing problems and innovate in a fast-changing market. So, singing this rhetorical needs how should schools and universities step up to prepare their students. Uh, our, our survey we got very clean and realistic uh, expectations from students regarding education institutions. The top uh, rating is organic. The student exchange programs at 38 version. Young people don't want to just read about the work through textbooks for classroom. Once they clever real work exposure to build confidence and prudent their perspective in the present global issues into the curriculum ranks second at 37 version. Students want to stay updated on international affairs and global income economic trends. So they now exactly what kind of work they are entering after graduation.
And will be loading or reset restriction wrong honestly can decide at acceptable recommendation. Our rock analysis will save role the first station method. First, regarding a different to the 18 to 24 work is more likely to be position as negative compared to the 25 to 34 work. This may be because younger students are more diverse and connected about social statistics, so why slightly older young personal health really is very the key benefit of position. Second income with the female respondent are more likely to be positioned negatively than male. This could reflect different concern behaviors or with perception. Third and most important, there is a strong correlation between perception and confidence. Among those who will position positive, 55% believe local video can difficult complain. In contrast, among those who will is negative, only 28% say that confident. That so that it feels safely and believe safe efforts that their inside in my network after commercial we release business must fight. Before we simplify that, examine the kind commercial we looked that amended is fight. There are a significant gap between sentiment and market reality. Many young Vietnamese express emotional support for local business. However, there are two distinct behaviors tell a different story. Local cannot expect young commercial to buy for you release out of patriotism. Local business must involve packing, design, and trading. Based on our thinking, we would like to offer for set of recommendation for local business invest in digital marketing and branding for the government, for university, for the people. Their recommendation is connected could bring the gap between inter and action and help local business there in a global world.
So, to wrap up our findings, here are the 4 key takeaways from our survey. First, negative perception dominates. 43.5% of young people view globalization as mostly harmful to local businesses, outweighing the 30.8% who see it positively. Second, the CHOP paradox persists, 77.5 per optimistic about personal career opportunities, yet many still worry about the broader business ecosystem. This creates a tension between individual gain and collective concern. Third, the attention gap is real. While 70.6% express support for local businesses, 75.83% still buy international brands frequently. Young consumers want to support local, but the price and the qualities often override good attention. Fourth, the skill shift is underway. Digital skills and cross-cultural communications are now seen as more important than traditional knowledge, reflecting the demands of a globalized economy. In conclusion, the global businesses have a great chance to win young buyers, but they must compete with the professional market. In conclusion, young businesses have a great chance to win. In conclusion, local businesses have a great chance. In conclusion, local businesses have a great chance to win young buyers, but they must compete with the professional marketing and good prices, not just patriotism.